On his long-running TV show, Dog the Bounty Hunter made catching bad guys look easy and became a bona fide star in the process. But off-camera, Dog's personal life has been plagued by financial woes, health scares, and a tumultuous family life. With a career built on chasing down criminals, it's not hard to believe that Dog the Bounty Hunter, who was born Dwayne Chapman, didn't have a picture-perfect childhood. While he enjoys the fruits of his labor today, Chapman lived a blue-collar life as a kid. He was born in Denver, Colorado, to a father who worked as a Navy welder turned bail bondsman and a mother who spent her Sundays teaching Bible school. Chapman was one of 4 children, with 2 sisters and a younger brother. In his 2007 book, You Can Run But You Can't Hide, he said his upbringing was pretty normal. But what Chapman thought of as normal then has evolved, and he recognizes that he endured abuse at the hands of his father. He wrote in his memoir, "As a young boy, I never knew that other kids didn't get hit by their dads. I can't recall any long stretch of time in my young life when my dad didn't hit me." His father, whose nickname was Flash due to his boxing skills, taught his son how to box at a young age to build character. Chapman recalled in his memoir, "I wasn't allowed to show any emotion after he threw a punch. A jab to the ribs, a left hook to the body, whatever came at me, I was expected to take it like a man. But I wasn't a man. I was a young boy, looking for love and approval from my father." Chapman may have built a career on chasing criminals, but decades ago, he was the one running from the law. His youth was spent testing the limits. He told the Denver Post, "I was always running from the cops and they were always arresting me. I spent a lot of time with the cops back then." In 1976, Chapman became an accomplice to murder during a drug deal gone bad when a member of his entourage shot and killed a man named Jerry Oliver. Chapman was waiting in the car during the altercation, but he was later arrested and held partly responsible for the murder under Texas law. After being found guilty of first-degree murder, the future television personality was sentenced to 5 years in the Texas State Penitentiary, of which he served 18 months.
I went to prison for that.
Chapman was arrested yet again in 2003, while in pursuit of Max Factor heir Andrew Lester in Mexico. Lester had evaded arrest by jetting off to Puerto Vallarta after being charged with multiple sexual assault cases, but not before being tracked down by Chapman. The television star was held up at the United States and Mexico border, however, and detained by police, since bounty hunting is illegal in Mexico. Chapman left the Mexican prison after paying the bail for him and his TV crew, and Lester was later convicted and sentenced. Landing himself in jail wasn't an ideal situation for Chapman, but it did give him a new purpose in life. The reality star admitted that while serving time behind bars, he became inspired to hunt down criminals in a surprising full-circle realization. He told Fox News, "While I was in prison, I became the warden's barber, so that means all the guards were my friends. One guy went to break and run one day, an inmate, and I jumped him and the guards were going to shoot him in the back." Chapman intervened, however, saving the man's life. He explained, "And as the guard walked up when I was on top of the inmate apprehending him, and he threw down the handcuffs and said, 'Hook him up, bounty hunter.' The incident earned him the nickname Bounty Hunter by prison personnel and paved the way for his future career. Once he got out of prison early, he was hit with a staggering amount of child support bills and was in need of quick cash. The judge overseeing his case suggested that Chapman take up bounty hunting as a serious career after hearing about his sterling reputation behind bars and ability to react to tense situations. Thus, Dog the Bounty Hunter was born.
We're not trained to kill, we're trained to apprehend.
Chapman gained worldwide recognition after tracking down fugitive Andrew Lester in Mexico. After successfully nailing down the location of the convicted perpetrator, Chapman became a household name with the 2004 launch of Dog the Bounty Hunter on A&E. For nearly a decade, fans watched him track down some devious criminals. The show was canceled following its 8th season in 2012. As he stated in his interview with the New York Times, Chapman claims to have been responsible for apprehending at least 10,000 fugitives in his day. Most of those hunts went down on Dog the Bounty Hunter, but after that chapter closed, Chapman was the star of a spin-off show, Dog and Beth, On the Hunt. The show aired on the CMT network and featured his late wife, Beth. He also went on to executive produce Dogs Most Wanted, which aired on WGN America in 2019. Chapman is responsible for finding some of the nation's most wanted criminals. In addition to his successful quest for Andrew Lester's whereabouts, the reality television star hunted down Leonard Trujillo Jr. on Dogs Most Wanted. Trujillo was at the top of the list of fugitives at large in 2019, faced with charges of armed robbery, bank robbery, and assault on a police officer. Chapman and his entourage managed to track down the thief in Colorado, leading to the arrests of 4 more people in connection with Trujillo's crimes. Chapman was married many times over the years, but his longest relationship was his fifth wife, Beth, who became a beloved figure on Dog the Bounty Hunter. The couple met in 1988 when Beth was 19 years old and in trouble with the law. She was arrested for shoplifting a lemon. Police also snagged her for an arrest warrant over several unpaid parking tickets, as well as having an unlicensed gun on her. Beth's father contacted Chapman, who was 35 at the time, to bail her out. Once Beth met Chapman to file paperwork, she was instantly smitten. Chapman was married at the time, but Beth was none the wiser. She landed herself in jail for 6 months after taking a car from a car dealership to try and track Dog down. By the time Beth got out of jail, she and Chapman were dating. Beth eventually wed Chapman's friend, Keith Barmore, but she continued seeing the television star on the side. Beth and Chapman ultimately tied the knot in 2006. In 2019, Beth died at 51 years old after being diagnosed with throat and later lung cancer. Her passing was a huge blow to Chapman, who admitted to experiencing suicidal thoughts in the months that followed. He revealed in an interview with Dr. Oz, "I couldn't stop crying. I wasn't going to commit suicide with a gun or something. I was going to take a lot of pills," because Beth left all of her big pills there. Chapman eventually pulled himself out of that dark place and has since made plans to memorialize his late wife. In a 2020 interview with the New York Times, the TV star said he plans to write another book, this one honoring Beth. Chapman also revealed that he has hopes of becoming a sheriff if he's able to get a pardon from Texas after his 1976 murder conviction.
How do you want Beth to be remembered?
Mrs. Dog.
2 years after Beth's death, Dwayne Chapman found love again with Francie Frayne. The two met after Chapman called the Colorado rancher, attempting to hire her husband Bob to do some work on his home. Frayne informed him that her husband had died months before Beth had, and the two bonded over their mutual grief. Not long after, the couple started seeing each other. Chapman eventually proposed to Frayne in May 2020, less than a year after Beth's passing. He wrote on Instagram alongside a post of Frayne, "I scream and cry, Beth, where are you? Why did you leave me? Then I look up and see you, Francie, and the pain turns to a smile. I love you, woman." The couple got married in Colorado Springs in an intimate September 2021 ceremony with 100 people. Dwayne Chapman hasn't always been the father of the year, at least according to his daughter, Lisa. In her book, Walking on Eggshells, Lisa recounted a childhood growing up with a father addicted to crack and an alcoholic mother. In an interview with Fox News in 2013, she admitted, "I falsely accused my father of raping me when I was 11. I had been molested by a friend of his. It was a horrible life that I never wanted to go back to, living with him and Beth and the fighting and the drugs." When Chapman got romantically involved with his late wife's former friend, Moon Angel, shortly after her death, Lisa took to X to express her disapproval, writing, "If someone who met your family by dating your brother tried to date your father after your stepmom died, what would you do?" Angel and Chapman eventually broke up, and Lisa is back on good terms with her father. She wrote on Instagram in 2024, "A legend was born today. Happy birthday, Dad. We love you." Two of Chapman's other daughters, Bonnie and Cecily, were also on the outs with their father after claiming they weren't invited to his wedding to Frayne. In a Facebook post, Bonnie claimed Frayne texted her that she wasn't invited due to her support of the Black Lives Matter movement. Bonnie wrote in the post, "I'm sorry, but I can't defend my dad's racism." Chapman suffered more than just heartbreak following Beth's death in 2019. Amidst his grief, the TV personality landed himself in the hospital after enduring a pulmonary embolism just 3 months after her passing.
I think basically I had a broken heart.
According to his interview with the New York Times, Dog believed that his testosterone supplements thickened his blood and led to the medical emergency. While he was supposed to stay in the hospital, he ended up leaving early after an altercation with an employee. He told the newspaper, "I pushed an orderly up against a wall because he wouldn't let me leave. They couldn't stop me." Soon after his hospital stay, Dr. Oz had Chapman on his show for an intervention. Dr. Oz told him in the interview,
"You're a ticking time bomb. With the heart the way it is right now, you aren't going to be here."
Chapman started to make positive changes following the intervention, chewing ice cubes to lose weight and cutting back on his cigarette smoking. At the beginning of 2020, he was down to 187 pounds and 2 packs of cigarettes a day, using disposable filters to cut back on the negative side effects of nicotine. Despite some of his steps in the right direction, the bounty hunter has refused to cut back on tanning salons and isn't a fan of using sunscreen. Chapman amassed a multi-million-dollar fortune while chasing fugitives and starring on his popular television show. But years after his reality TV days ended, the Colorado native has suffered serious financial problems. In his 2020 interview with the New York Times, Chapman revealed that he was on the hunt for more lucrative bond jobs after he spent his fortune caring for his late wife. He told the outlet he was broke, admitting that paying for hospital bills during her battle with cancer took a serious toll. Chapman revealed he was planning to take on a huge bond job after he got a call from his partner partner David Robinson. He added that he would have to pay $1.5 million if he was unable to apprehend the fugitive, who evaded a potential drug conviction by escaping to California. Despite having his health scare, Chapman was ready to jump back into his bounty hunting career. According to his New York Times interview, he told Robinson, "I can go. I'm 3 hours away, David. Just got a blood clot, that's all."